Hi, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's special, a WorkingNation Films premiere event, Glory in Overcoming. I am so proud and excited to be sharing this content with you. My name is Melissa Panzer, and I oversee all video production for WorkingNation. I also had the privilege of directing this short film. For those of you who don't already know, WorkingNation is a national not-for-profit, and we tell stories that focus on workforce development issues and opportunities in the United States. Over the next 20 or so minutes, we're going to be exploring how Goodwill, Google, Coursera, and employers like Accenture are all working together to get folks ready for the jobs of today and tomorrow by utilizing programs like Goodwill Digital Career Accelerator, which for most people is free. We also have a special guest with us today, someone who has lived through it and now is on the other side. We'll be answering all of your questions at the end of this live event, so please make sure to share them in the comments. Okay, that was a lot. Now to start us off, I'd love to show you all a short teaser that sets up what we will be talking about today.
My life was completely disrupted when my husband was sentenced to life in prison.
I was in domestic violence situation with my ex-husband. He got everything from me.
I survived what would have been life or death. And I chose to make a life-changing decision by walking into a Goodwill, asking for some help. And when I walked out, I was handed an opportunity.
Most people know Goodwill for its stores. And we have not only those stores, we have 650 job centers.
We want them to find a job, and then a better job, and then a career.
To imagine myself in a career opposed to just a job was definitely far-fetched.
My kids very proud of me. They know that I was working very hard to change our life.
We know just how much that you've experienced because we've been exactly in your shoes. You fought for you. My sister, you made it and you're still making it. And you're still doing amazing things.
Thank you.
Accept that. Oh my goodness.
The journey has changed my life in a way that I could have never envisioned. So for any young girl out there that's never seen a Black woman in tech, baby, this is what it is. And you can do it too.
Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed that preview of our short documentary. Head over to workingnation.org right after this event to watch the complete story. Now, I am thrilled to bring in a very special guest, someone who you might recognize from the piece you just watched, Kara Gooch. I was so lucky to meet Kara a few months ago in Nashville when I interviewed her about the Goodwill Digital Career Accelerator and how it changed the trajectory of her life. I was moved by her story and her incredible perseverance, and I am hoping you will be too. Kara, thank you so much for joining
us. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so happy to see you again.
I know. It's been a while.
I think this is the first time you're seeing that promo, and I think if you've had a chance, today might be the first time you saw the whole story. Yeah. What did you think?
I know. It came together very beautifully. My goodness. The points and the times of you being able to say, like, okay, no, do this, do this. I'm like, okay, yes, she knows best. Melissa knows best. But to see it all come to pass is quite honestly an honor to be a part of. So thank you so much.
Well, it was easy to put it together. You and Chelsea and Shahira are just so incredibly inspirational. Mm-hmm. So let's jump to it. Why don't you start by telling me, how did you first hear about the Google IT program that Goodwill offers?
Yeah, so a coworker at the time, he actually read through the opportunity in a local newspaper. And so he motivated me to give it a try, to look into it, because a young lady in my similar situation had gone through the program and she had tried and succeeded. And so here I am reading it and I'm like, oh, wow, there's like a list of similarities between me and this young lady. Like, for one, single mom, young children that she's raising, and then being a part and stepping aside from simply surviving to wanting to thrive. And so it made sense to me, because if you're hitting all those points on that list, then yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try. So I just walked into a Goodwill and tried to figure out what to do.
Did you know anything about IT before?
I did. But at that time, though, I thought that you could only walk into it through coding. I thought that the only thing that you could do to walk into a space of being an IT professional is you have to learn to code. You have to learn all of these languages. And that honestly opened up a new guise for me to look through the world of IT and say, this is simply an opportunity and simply a door. And that word IT is simply a door, because as you walk through it, you come to realize that there are so many opportunities available when it comes to IT, and it doesn't have to be painted over by one lane.
Yeah. So you had this sort of blessing that you knew about IT, but do you think it's fair to say, even if you don't know anything about IT, this program could be a good match for you?
Definitely, because it also gives you that opportunity to think differently, because that's some of the issues that we face as we go into something that is unknown. We don't want to walk forward because of that unknown. But as I said before, IT is simply a door. And once you walk through that door, it's a matter of taking that courage and understanding that the resources are available to you for you to pursue everything that you're wanting to accomplish.
Yeah, that's really good advice. During the interviews, or I guess the pre-interviews, all three of you, Shahira and Kara, Chelsea, all told me the same thing, which was that you didn't trust a lot of the videos that you watched highlighting programs that were creating opportunities for tech jobs. You thought maybe the people highlighted were actors or paid, or that it was really just all too good to be true. And I'm assuming there are people watching this live stream right now that may have the same kinds of thoughts. How do I know that that's true, that she's the real deal? And so can you articulate a little bit on how you knew this program was true and real?
Yeah, so I can even think back to after reading that article and doing a good old Google search and finding out who this person was that they were talking about. And lo and behold, the young lady that they were featuring in the local newspaper was Chelsea. So the young lady that I was sitting next to was featured in the newspaper. And now, how many years later, I'm now sitting next to her as a fellow success story. But in that moment, I first did like a quick Google search, of course, and did my social media stalking to figure out if this person is real. And then after that, I found out that it's just simply we are people. And after going into the Goodwill, that was probably the best part of figuring out and bringing down that barrier of, is this real or not, is they had real connections with the people that they were serving. And that truly made the difference, because I was able to walk into a Goodwill. I was able to have those conversations and bring down those barriers to entry for myself, because I asked all of the right questions. And it's just a matter of asking the right questions at first.
Yeah. And so that was a minute ago now that you walked into that Goodwill. How's your life changed since then? And let's just start there. How's your life changed since then?
Since then, I am able to say that I'm happily remarried, because in the process of going through that space of getting the certification, I was actively going through a divorce and actively navigating how to maintain 3 small girls that were all under the age of 4 at the time, and navigating how to get them from point A to point B safely, how to just simply live on this side of surviving. And since then, as I said, I'm happily remarried and very happy, very safe, and ecstatic to be able to walk into this relationship healed. But aside from that, we were able to afford to give the girls my deepest dream that I've always desired since I had them, which was not being able to sleep in the same bed, in the same king size bed, because there was a time that we all had to sleep in the same king size bed. But we've since been able to afford giving them their own rooms. We now live in a space where they have their own room. And for some people, it's just a matter of, well, that's what you do. You have kids, so you get a bigger house. Like, yeah, but I was a part of the generation and the demographic that I wasn't able to say that I could do that at one point. And I've now been able to do that. And now we've done that twice over, where we're now in our second home and they still have their own room and they still have a dog. And that dog is even cared for and attended to properly. So yeah, it's been life-changing for sure, because that was the biggest thing, and I've been able to give them that big thing.
Yeah. It's really a blessing. I mean, your story, I hope other women who are listening today, or men, hear your story and really believe that they have the tools and the power and capability to do it too. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, but really thank you for your vulnerability in December. I am so grateful to have met you, and I feel so honored to have been able to be the one to tell your story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks again, Kara.
Absolutely.
So now that we know how the program can change someone's life, I think it makes sense to learn what the program actually is. So let's take a look at this video that gets into the nuts and bolts of what Google, Goodwill, and Coursera are actually doing.
It's so important for us to realize that digital skills have become the price of entry for many jobs in our country. Digitization has so infused our workforce that the need for those skills is ubiquitous.
The Goodwill Digital Career Accelerator is designed to meet people where they are. The beauty is in the word accelerator. I mean, it's being able to put your foot on the gas and take someone from just that basic keyboarding all the way up to advanced computer programming.
My dream was to complete my education. I need a degree in business field or IT field. I heard about Google certification that offered by Goodwill. I went to Goodwill Career Center and I asked them about that program.
Shihara was applying to enter into the Google IT Support Professional Certificate Training Program. And to get into that program, there are assessments that you do have to pass just to make sure that you have the foundational skills that you need to be able to be successful in those programs. Part of the assessment, though, is not just math and reading and comprehension. The other assessments are when we sit down and we talk with each individual who's interested in coming into this training program, because it's really important that you have that determination so you can complete the program.
What we often find is when somebody reaches a particular level of the program, the world of possibilities opens up to them. And they understand that there's something much bigger that's possible. It is completely transformational. We see people going from homeless to digital jobs within a series of months. So often we think about helping people change their lives, but they change our lives too. They change our understanding of what's possible. They change our faith in people because we see what it's like to overcome.
The Goodwill people, they are a miracle in my life and my kids' life. I will never forget the blessing that they are provided to me by offering this program for me.
It's incredible to see what kind of programs are available to folks. And just a reminder, to learn more about this program and these women, head over to workingnation.org at the end of this live stream. To understand how this program came to be, Working Nation's editor-in-chief, Ramona Schindelheim, joins us with Hector Mujica, head of Economic Opportunity Americas for Google.org.
Thank you, Melissa, and welcome, Hector. I'm so appreciative that you could join us for this live event.
Thanks for having me.
Let's get down to it. What was it about Goodwill? I mean, a lot of people don't know that Goodwill is one of the biggest workforce development programs from a nonprofit standpoint. What about it attracted you and made you want to get involved 5 years ago?
Long list, many things, but I'll focus on two particular components. One is the reach, and two is the ability to impact lives. First of all, we are ardent believers in the role of digital skills to prepare historically underserved communities for the digital economy. We know that this has the transformational power, like we saw in the case of Kara, to enable people's participation in and ultimately increase their earning potential and their economic mobility. Now, Goodwill offers the most robust launching platform for digital skilling because they are within reach to so many people in the United States. In fact, over 3/4 of the US population, north of 75%, are within a 20-mile driving radius of one of the 116 US Goodwills in the country. So they're incredibly well positioned to reach a vast majority of the country with in-person training, with devices, computers that enable them to take trainings like the Google Career Certificates. And by extension, the impact. They have demonstrated that they're really capable at taking someone that has limited to no background or no context in the digital world, in the technical world, and putting them through a program, combining that program and those technical aptitudes and competencies with the right wraparound supports and getting results, transforming lives, like the 3 lives that we heard about in this wonderful film, right? And since 2017, when we initially partnered with Goodwill to fund the Goodwill Digital Career Accelerator, we've now been able to reach over 1.5 million learners with digital skills. And not only have we been able to teach them these digital skills, but we've also been able to ensure that over 350,000 of these learners that were also job seekers have now earned employment across the country.
That is such an amazing thing. The fact that you can bring that many people in such a small amount of time. Now, this is open to everyone. You don't have to have any experience to join in there. And so there's many different levels. Tell me about how much it costs. Is it going to cost me if I want to go in and do this? How much time does it take? And what do you get at the end of it?
Absolutely. So, first of all, we really want to make sure that these programs are available to as many people as possible. That is the reason why we ended up working with Goodwill to help advance and bring these type of programs more proximate to the communities that need them most. And that's also why we ended up launching programs like Grow with Google and created the Google Career Certificates to really ensure that there are meaningful alternate pathways to upward mobility and to the digital economy. Through this program, we've been able to provide over 100,000 need-based scholarships to Americans and have reached over 150,000 US graduates, with many of them, a vast majority, 75%, reporting positive career impacts, whether that's a job placement, a raise, a promotion, and perhaps most importantly, over a majority of these learners, 55%, are Black, Latino, or Asian, many of the communities that are deeply underrepresented in the tech sector. Now, for the Google Career Certificates, thanks to scholarships and funding from entities like Google.org and other partners, the programs are available at no cost to learners at most Goodwills, and also through other implementing partners, Perscolas, Empowers. There's many entities throughout the country that lean into our grant program and into the certificates to reach communities. And this, again, does not only include the core curriculum, the technical curriculum of the career certificates, but where we really see the differential impact of our philanthropy at Google.org is to be able to provide the essential wraparound supports like living stipends, like childcare, like coaching, like mentorship, to really set these individuals up for success and into a meaningful trajectory to upward mobility. And these programs, the other part of the beauty of the program is that they're not going to take you a really long time to complete. Most folks can complete these within 3 to 6 months of part-time study and can quickly, again, be transformed into a pathway into upward mobility.
I think that's part of what the appeal is for a lot of people, including the 3 women in the piece today, Glory and Overcoming, the idea that they don't have to put a lot of time in it, and they have families to support, and they can get to a good career at a quicker pace is definitely very appealing and very necessary as our workforce changes. I would like one last question for you is, 350,000 people put to work. That's amazing. 1.5 million people being able to access this program. What does success in the future look like to Google.org and to you?
Listen, a couple of things. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge the reality that according to World Economic Forum estimates, over 50% of workers are going to need to add new skills by 2025 to keep up with the requirements of in-demand careers. We also fully acknowledge that a traditional way that folks have been gaining those skills have been in the college environment, but 2/3 of Americans don't hold a college degree. So it's become all too clear that the jobs of tomorrow might be out of reach for many job seekers. And this, again, disproportionately excludes certain communities, rural workers, African-American communities, Latino communities, which is why we're really, really focused on enabling us to, one, create new pathways to the digital economy through programs like the career certificates, like the Digital Career Accelerator, and also to encourage employers to rethink what it means to be qualified for work. So for us at Google.org, part of the success is more people in high-wage, high-growth jobs, more employers hiring people that are focusing on skills as opposed to pedigree. So really skills-based hiring as opposed to traditional 4-year degree hiring, and ultimately more capital to support these learners and to create sustainable financing models to help them scale.
Hector, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on all the good work you do. And thank you for your support of WorkingNation.
And thank you guys for helping us tell these stories.
Yeah, thank you so much. Melissa, back to you.
Remember to check out Ramona's article with more information about Google's initiatives and this program on WorkingNation.org. Big global ideas are great, but it takes local boots on the ground and storytellers like WorkingNation to execute them. Let's hear from Matthew Bourlakas, President and CEO, Goodwill Industries of Middle Tennessee, about what it took to get this program off the ground and why Nashville was a strong home for it. Hi, Matt. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Good, thanks. So let's start off with something pretty simple, I think. Why is this program important to Goodwill Industries of Middle Tennessee?
Well, Melissa, I would tell you that, it's important to bring people back to the very beginning. Goodwill started over 120 years ago in South Boston as a Methodist minister, the Reverend Edgar Helms, who was trying to help people who were hungry, they were homeless, and they were unemployed. And he was doing that out of Morgan Memorial Chapel. And it was really a handout from the offering plates in the church. And he was just frustrated. He was dissatisfied because people just kept coming back. They needed more and more. And he realized that what these people needed were hand up rather than a handout. And one of the best ways out of poverty is through paid productive work. And so that's what Goodwill has been focused on for over 120 years, is providing individuals with disabilities and others who have trouble finding and keeping jobs the opportunity to earn a job a better job or to start a career. And the Google Digital Career Accelerator just provides people with a real foundation for jobs in the tech industry right here in Middle Tennessee and across the country.
Yeah. So I'm also wondering, when I was in Nashville, I heard a lot of people saying, man, this city has changed a lot in the last 10 years. What do they mean when they're saying that?
Well, I would tell you that entertainment has always been a big part of Nashville. But I would tell you that even 10 years ago, we were more than a one-horse town, right? I mean, there were banking, automotive, healthcare, but over the last 10 years, just here in Nashville, tech jobs have grown over 30%. Now, I would, why people are coming to Tennessee, why Nashville? What's interesting that Tennessee is the state that borders more other U.S. states than any other state in the United States. And we're probably 11.5-hour drive to 60% of the population. So we're centrally located in there. And so I think businesses look for the entertainment, quality of life, access to markets as a great place to do business and for their employees to come work and live and raise a family.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at this photo that I think we're going to have pulled up here in a second, you can literally see that there are big businesses towering over these honky tonks that have been there for ages. I'm curious, how is Goodwill Industries of Middle Tennessee supporting both these businesses, but also the community members of Nashville that as this shift happens?
That's a great picture, Melissa, because I think what it really speaks to is that big business can survive and thrive alongside of just small businesses, mom and pops along, these honky tonks along, down Broadway. The Google Digital Career Accelerator, I mean, it seeks to cultivate opportunities, for those, not in traditional tech training programs, which represent a lot of the folks that come to Goodwill. These programs help to build a much needed pipeline of talented tech workers, not only for these big businesses, like Accenture and Google and Amazon, but just for small businesses. So it helps the local economy thrive and with small businesses, mom and pop shops, these honky tonks, but also for just huge businesses to, alongside these small businesses, thrive and grow and prosper.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I think it's also just important to point out that maybe there's some folks on here that are not from Nashville who are listening and are curious about what Goodwill in their own communities can offer as it relates to this program, but any others that Goodwill puts on too.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would share with everybody that while Goodwill is a national brand, we are local in every community, and every Goodwill has the opportunity and the responsibility to meet the community needs within their own area. So I would just encourage anybody who wants the opportunity to find out what they're interested in, what they're capable of doing, to reach out to their local Goodwill. The great thing about the Google Digital Career Accelerator is it is designed, it is built for everybody. It is built for those who think, who believe, and in many cases know that they have a future in the tech. But it also for those who don't know, don't believe, can't imagine their life or their future in tech. It is designed, it is built for those who know their way around a computer and for those who are clueless. And for so many people who come to Goodwill, they fall into that latter category. They just can't see, don't know, don't believe, like Kara, that they can have a life, a career, a high-paying job in the tech industry.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Matt, so much. And thanks for being with us today. I'm super appreciative again of your participation today, and also for sort of helping us to get through the 2 days we spent in Nashville back in December. So thank you.
I think WorkingNation for putting this together, because you did such a beautiful job of showcasing, highlighting these three extraordinary women who have transformed their lives, new lives, through the Goodwill Digital Career Accelerator program. So thank you.
Thank you for that. So that about wraps us up, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed this story about these three remarkable mothers and really, really have learned something from what Hector and Matthew have both offered us. Thank you again to Google.org for making this possible. And on behalf of our founder and CEO, Art Bilger, and his family, we at Working Nation want to wish all the mothers out there a very happy Mother's Day. Please remember to subscribe to our channel right here, and to go to workingnation.org to watch this full film. Thank you all again for being with us today.